Hey, good to see you. So today I'm going to my friend Alison's place. We're going to do a Christmas dessert for you, and I thought I'd take you along. She collected some raspberries from her garden this summer, mid-August. They're summer-bearing raspberries, and she wants to cook a little dessert, Christmas dessert for us. And Alison is going to be making a meringue with lemon curd and raspberries for this Christmas season. So she's going to show us how to do it. I'll turn the camera around and she can explain. Hey Lisa, welcome back. So just as part of our Christmas series, we're going to do a meringue, as Lisa said, and show you a way to use up some of those summer raspberries that you've got in your freezer. So I've got my raspberries here that came out of my freezer, and I did freeze these on a cookie sheet before I put them in the bag. And it's also important to make sure that you don't wash your raspberries before you freeze them, because they get all mushy and juicy, and so you just have to make sure you pick them from places that are high enough up on the raspberry plants that you don't have any dirt or grime. But most of the time raspberries don't need to be washed at all, and you can't freeze them if you wash them. So those have been in the freezer since August, and I'm just going to wash my hands and we'll get going on the meringues. So I've got some meringues that I did last night, and Lisa can show you what they're going to turn out like. And I'm just going to get the eggs out of the fridge. They look good. Alison, I'm hoping I can sample. Yep, that's why I made some, because they take a little while to cook, and we're not going to film all the cooking, but we're going to reverse this and we're going to get to here in just a few minutes. One of the important things with making meringues is that you have to have really clean bowls, and it's much better to do them in a metal bowl, and we're going to do it on our KitchenAid. And there can't be any grease in the bowls or anything that touches the meringue, because it will make it so it doesn't whip properly. So we're going to get everything ready. And I've got my tray ready with some parchment paper. So the parchment paper just helps to make sure, again, that there's no grease on the pan, and makes it so they come off nice and clean, and you don't grease the parchment paper, so no grease at all. So I use 3 jugs to separate eggs, 1 to put the final yolks into, 1 to crack and separate the eggs, and then one at a time I'm going to put them into another jug, just so that if I muff it up and get yolk in it, at least I only wreck the 1 egg and not all like 3 or 6 or however many you're doing. So this recipe calls for large eggs, and so I've got my large eggs here. And to separate an egg, you can use an egg separator. I might pull mine out and show you. But you just carefully crack the egg and then pour the yolk without splitting it in. Okay, that's good. Oh, and I forgot to take, these are ones that I had from yesterday. So then you just put the yolk in there.
So what do you do with all those yolks, I wondered?
We're going to make the lemon curd with the yolks.
Oh.
So this is a multi, and actually I'm not going to use the 3 eggs or the 3 jugs, because I've actually got my mixer set right close. You just need a 3-step piece. So you got your yolks, your 1 at a time, crack your egg and separate it, and then put your egg whites in your nice clean bowl. So you just crack them carefully. Oops. There we go, that's the last of the... This recipe that Lisa's going to have for you is for 6 eggs, and you can double it to a dozen. I just split it so I could do half of it last night and half of it today.
So Lisa, if you want to come in close to see the egg white, so there shouldn't be any shell in it and there shouldn't be any yellow yolk, and if there is, then you have to do it again. So we've got our eggs in the mixer, so there's 3. And the recipe would be for 6, but we're just going to do a half. And we're going to turn the mixer on to medium, and it takes about 3 minutes or so, and we'll see. We're going to whip it to stiff peaks, and there's no sugar or anything in here yet. It's just, we're going to just whip the eggs to start, or the egg whites. So you can see that it's stiff. And it doesn't move when we take it out. So now I'm going to add the sugar. So this recipe calls for superfine sugar, and so rather than go and buy superfine sugar, you can just easily make your own in a food processor. So we need half a cup of sugar. So just with a blade on your food processor. You can go buy superfine sugar. It's often called berry sugar. And then you just whiz it in your food processor for a minute or 2 and it turns into superfine sugar. Yeah, so the reason you want the superfine sugar is it incorporates into the meringue more easily. So I'll show you the difference. So you can see how much more coarse the regular sugar is, and then there it is after it's been food processed. So with our whipped egg whites, and they're at stiff peaks, we're going to add, so there's 3 large eggs in here, and we're going to add the half a cup of superfine sugar. You can use regular sugar, but it will just make it so that meringues will, like the sugar will be a bit more grainy. And then we need a pinch of salt, just to make the flavors pop. And now we're going to whip it at high speed on the mixer for 7 to 8 minutes until it's really glossy, and that when I rub it between my fingers, I don't feel any sugar. And come look at the meringue, so it's done. So it's super shiny, and then when I take a little piece of it, there's no sugar grit between my fingers at all. So it's done. So it's ready to go in the oven. We're just getting our double boiler going to make the lemon curd, but we're going to get this in the oven first. So I've got 2 metal spoons, and you can make one big meringue. So if you wanted to make a pavlova, where you're making like a cake size meringue, you can make it really big, or we're going to make individual ones. And on the parchment, meringues don't spread, so you just plop it on to whatever size you want, and then if you're going to make them with the fruit and the lemon curd, just push them down a little bit and kind of get them in a circle. You can be fancy and use a piping bag. I'm just going to put a little bit more on this one.
They still taste the same, Alison.
They taste the same, but so let's just make it easy.
You guys are going to be all jealous that I'm going to be trying these out.
There's a bigger one for you, Lisa.
Nice.
So the oven is at 300. So we'll try it with the convection and see if it should cook faster. I'm going to put the meringues in. And we're not going to look at my dirty oven.
Now pretend it's not there.
And then we're going to set the timer for 45 minutes. Actually, I'm going to set it for 40, and we'll check them in 40 to see if they're nice and cracked and dry. So we're ready to do the lemon curd. And this is the way to use up the yolks. And then you could make creme brulee, which also is very tasty with meringue on top, but I like the lemon curd. And like we did with the jam, you can put it in your freezer as well. We're going to use a silicone or rubber whisk. That was just popping out. You don't have to use a double boiler. You could just do it right in the pot, but I have a double boiler. It makes making curd easier so that you don't have to worry about scorching the bottom of the curd. I'm going to get the lemon juice in first. So we're going to measure out our lemon juice. If you're squeezing lemons, this would be about 4 lemons, but we're going to do it out of here, and I've given it a shake already.
Those are neat measuring cups.
Yeah.
Where'd you get those from?
This is my trusty Tupperware, so.
Nice.
And this is Tupperware too. Tupperware or Pampered Chef is the way to go. So I've got some lemon peel, and lots of people don't know that you can actually freeze lemon peel. So I had grated this a while ago, and then 1 tablespoon of zest, it's actually the zest, is equivalent to a lemon. So we're going to put in 4 to 5 tablespoons of zest. Anytime I'm squeezing lemons, I always just zest them first, and I do have a micro zester. So this is the best lemon grater. You can use it for garlic and wash it. It's all stainless steel, so it's microplane.
So I'm trying to get it. There we go.
And it's from Lee Valley.
Nice.
Best,
Lee Valley.
best investment ever for lemons, limes, garlic, parmesan, regular cheese, and it goes in the dishwasher. It's stainless steel and it lasts forever.
I really love the catch on it.
Yeah, and then this is then you can do it without having it over the bowl, or we could have grated the lemons right into it.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to turn our double boiler up a little bit so that it starts boiling again. It's not just hot. I'm going to whisk my eggs first, actually. So I've got 6 of the yolks. Okay, so we'll let that there. I'll work out the exact recipe. The recipe I have is actually for 5 yolks, but we're using 6. I'll work out the math and give that to Lisa, but it would just be a bit more than 3/4 of a cup, because we've got 6 instead of 5. So I've got just more than a 1/2 cup of butter, and again I'll get the exact measurements. You can cut that up, but I'm just being lazy and it's going to heat up and melt.
We've got lots of time because we're waiting for those
That's right.
meringues.
So we've got our lemon juice, our lemon zest, our sugar, our butter, and we just got it all in the double boiler. If I was doing this without a double boiler, I would have got the lemon and the sugar all hot, and then tempered the eggs into it by putting a bit of the hot liquid into the eggs, getting them close to the temperature of what you're putting it into. But in the double boiler, I find you can just put it all in the pot and then let it heat up together. And there's salt in the butter, so I'm just going to put in a small pinch of salt, just because it makes the lemon pop.
Alison, I think I could even do this.
You could do this. Lemon curd is so easy, and you can make lime curd, you can make orange curd, you can make Meyer lemon curd. So It's just so easy. It's like, it's lemon pudding.
I just love anything with lemons in
If
it.
you like lemon, lemon curd is for you.
I think I'm gonna make this for Christmas.
Yep. And then you can put it in your freezer too, so.
Oh, okay, that's really
It's just
nice.
like jam, so you freeze it like jam. We're gonna
Nice.
get our purple pots out
Nice.
and freeze it. So once we get everything melted, which is really the butter, and then the sugar and the juice and the eggs come together, we're gonna cook it for about 8 minutes, and then it will have thickened up into curd, and then we're gonna strain it. Our curd is getting close, so if you wanna come, you can see that it's thickened up. And when you put it on the back of a spoon and run your finger through it, it doesn't come back. Tastes good. So now we're going to strain it. You don't have to strain it, but if you don't want to have the lemon curd, like the lemon peel, and then I don't like the egg bits in it, so I do strain it.
So when you say egg bits, they're just clumped up or something?
It's just the protein pieces of the egg, and so you get little clumpy pieces of egg that that some people are fine with, and I just don't like it. So we'll take our double boiler off, use our mixer. So I have a nice clean, make sure it's clean, strainer, and these are Pampered Chef metal strainers, and you can wash them and put them in the dishwasher. And then I just have a jug. I was just telling Lisa, make sure that if you're straining something that you actually do have a jug underneath it. And at one time in a hurry I did strain a whole thing of, I think it was actually lemon curd, into the sink because I was in a hurry with the strainer and forgot to put that you need something to strain it into. So that's just a little, avoid making an oops. So we're just going to carefully strain it. And you just have to stir it around a little bit, and this will take a few minutes to go through the strainer. So we'll clean it all up, but you can see it's pretty nice and smooth, and then that's what's left over from the peel and the eggs. And then if you did have any lemon seeds, if you squeezed your own lemons, and you're not getting that in there too, so just cleans it up.
Okay, the countdown is happening. 4 minutes. And now we're making whipping cream.
So we're just going to do a cup of whipping cream. And I just measured it because I don't want to dump in the whole thing. So we'll just let that whip, and I'll get some sugar and vanilla.
Yep.
We're just going to put in a couple of teaspoons, and I just know that the inside of my hand is a teaspoon. We're going to put in some real vanilla, so 2 teaspoons of sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. And this is real vanilla. And then we're going to finish it off, and it'll be done in just a minute. So we've just whipped our whipped cream to stiff peaks.
Nice.
And you can see that it's stiff.
And you can see there's only 1 minute left. 1.5 minutes left.
I'm just gonna show that I'm gonna put some of that lemon curd in the freezer. So in my freezer jam jars, I'm just gonna give them a good boiling water. So I don't like to put stuff in the freezer that isn't clean. So they're starting to crack. Yep, those are done. And so they're nice and light, and those are done. I will just let them cool for a few minutes, and we do have some done already. So I'm just going to put some of this into a bowl so we can put it in the fridge, and then I'm going to put the other half in the freezer so we don't eat it all right away. So I'll just put that in the fridge to really set up, and it gets quite like jam-like, but this will work for now. And then I'll do the same with the whipped cream. And then these are raspberries that I had frozen on the tray and then had put in the freezer in bags, and then I've just let them sit out. I don't put sugar on them. You could, and it makes a syrup, but I just had them sit out, and then they were on low power on the microwave for about 1 or 2 minutes.
Meringue do I want? Oh, let's see. Maybe that
That one, okay, perfect. Super, and I'll have this one. Then you can have a baby one on the side. Up. You could cut them, but I'm just going to break these. You can see they're chewy, and then we'll put the little baby one on top. And then there's our whipped cream, and we'll put our baby one on. There you go. Some meringues, lemon curd, and raspberries from the garden. Okay, so Lisa's got her meringue here, and she's going to give it a try, and we'll see how she likes it.
Oh my goodness, Alison has had me drooling this whole time, and I'm hungry. So I'm really excited to try this. Gotta get some lemon curd in there.
And the meringue should be crispy but still chewy.
I don't know if I should put that whole thing in my mouth. Break it up a little bit more. Okay. It's so good. But you see my sides of my mouth going in because it's got that tart. Yeah. I love that. It's so good, guys. Delicious. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. That's it for today. And you can see the plates in behind us. They're empty. It was so delicious, Alison. Thank you so much for teaching us how to make these beautiful meringues for Christmas.
Well, you're welcome, and we're going to have more meringues. They keep these keep for up to 3 weeks on my kitchen counter, as long as I don't get them too humid. And so we're going to do some more fun things with meringues and raspberries and lemons.
Nice. Okay, until the next time. Bye from Alison and I.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.